Boy. Here we go, and it's time for race number 21 of 29 here in the 1989 Throwbacks. And is this going to work? No, try this now. Welcome to race number 21 of 29 in the 1989 Throwbacks. We are now heading into the final stretch here, and we are now at the final Winston Million race of the season. Geoff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, and Mark Martin, they all have a shot at a $100,000 bonus going in to Darlington today. And that DNF that happened last week to Tim Richmond is really going to prove pivotal. We'll see just how pivotal it proves to be this race. And that points lead got chopped in half, and it could have been a lot worse if Elliott didn't also bite the dust at some point in the race. Hey, Darrell Waltrip with that win last week at Bristol, that moves him up to third. Waltrip showing that he can still get it done on the short tracks. That's one of the things about Darrell Waltrip is that, it seems like every single time it seems like he becomes irrelevant and he goes away. He just finds a way to come back to be in relevancy, and all of a sudden, hey yo, the 17 car is third in points. Not a good qualifying day for Darrell, as he's going to be in 15th, but how about Rusty Wallace is going to be on the pole for the Southern 500 today. The oldest race in NASCAR history, of course. One of the most famous as well. Rusty Wallace is your pole sitter. We've got Bill Elliott in second, Geoff Bodine in third, Terry Labonte in fourth, Dale Earnhardt fifth, Brett Bodine sixth, Ken Schrader seventh, Ricky Rudd eighth, Davey Allison in ninth, and Alan Kowicki will round out the top 10. As we said, here's Darrell Waltrip, who moved up into third in points after that win at Bristol, which proves to be very, very key. That DNF by Tim Richmond is also proving to be a very key point, as now all of a sudden we have 9 drivers within 400 points of the leader, which this late in the season is just absolutely insane. Anyways, here comes the command. The command has been given, and we are getting ready to roll off here. Pace car's going off. And there goes everybody. They're looking for 92 laps of action. As you can see here, Tim Richmond, he ended up crashing in practice. He had to go to the rear backup car. So obviously that is unfortunate. Tim Richmond would have started 5th. However, not the case today. He's got to start from the back. Here they come off of turn 4, and the green flag is out here at Darlington. Welcome to the Southern 500, as you can clearly see there. And it looks like Rusty Wallace, he's going to get an early advantage. Indeed, he's going to come off of turn 2 with the lead. Geoff Bodine's going to fall in right behind him. And looks like it's going to go Rusty Wallace, Geoff Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, and Bill Elliott rounding out the top 5. Davey Allison quickly battling inside of the top 10. He is going to get into 6th position here by lap number 1. And boy, it looks like things are really starting to spiral out of control here for Terry Labonte. After having such a good starting position, he's going to continue to fall back very, very quickly. Boy, that outside line here can be so treacherous, especially early on in a run here at Darlington. But once the runs start to get later on, you're going to see that line move up. Right now, however, Rusty Wallace, he's got a keen lead. Remember, he's got a multiple win season. 9 career wins now for Rusty. And that's got to be considered a success, no doubt about it. Geoff Bodine, he's looking for Remember, he's one of the drivers looking for the $100,000 bonus for winning 2 out of the 4 Winston Million races. He won the Daytona 500. The 4 Winston Million races, of course. You got the richest race, the fastest race, the longest race, and the oldest race. The Daytona 500, the Talladega 500, the Southern 500, and the Coca-Cola 600. Right now, taking a look at it, Geoff Bodine, he appears to have a fast car. Earnhardt's going to get a good run here off of turn number 4. Remember, turns 3 and 4, they're the larger of the two. Turns 1 and 2, they are the hairpins here. Earnhardt's going to try to dive in deep to the inside here. And there you go. Dale Earnhardt's going to take over second, and it looks like Elliott's going to take over third. Boy, this track is just such a one-groove track early on. So now Earnhardt, he's going to want to try to get into the lead here. He's trying to run down the 27. We'll see if he can get a good run here off of turns 1 and 2. Oh, so critical for getting the run off of 3 and 4 and trying to get the pass going into 1. He didn't get the run off of 1 and 2 he wanted. Earnhardt's going to block Elliott, however, so no dice there for the pass. And now they'll go through the larger of the two corners here in turns 3 and 4. Elliott is still right on the tail end of the 3. I think Elliott wants the pass. Elliott's looking. Can he try to find a hole here going into turn 1? No, he can't. So he's just going to keep it easy. We've got a lot of racing left, of course. No reason to drive the absolute wheels off the car. Now here comes Elliott. He's going to try to attack here going into turns 3 and 4. The outside line might prove to be a little bit better through these corners. And it did early on, but Elliott's starting to gain some momentum back, and Earnhardt's going to let him by. So Bill Elliott will take the second position. Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace has pulled out to a little bit of a lead here, about a half a second. Well, you got to consider that 27 car can't be the fastest car on the track. And indeed he isn't. In fact, Harry Gant might have the fastest car on the track right now, just he hasn't had a lap where he's been all by himself. So that's something to take into consideration. In fact, he's got the second fastest lap, and he's been in traffic the entire time. Keep that in mind. Harry Gant might have the fastest car right now, and we got a car blowing up, and it's the 6 of Mark Martin, and that's one of your Winston Million contenders. Oh, that's not good at all. Mark Martin has already bitten the dust. He's going to finish 42nd. And where is Tim Richmond right now? Tim Richmond is in 30th position. Yeah, remember, he had to start from the rear of the field, having the backup car. Look at this move by Schrader. Oh, just a beautiful move by Schrader. Didn't exactly need to get the bumper to his teammate Bodine there, but he was able to get close enough, get Bodine loose in the middle of the corner, and now Gant might be able to take advantage too, and he will. Meanwhile, up at the front, we have a new leader in Bill Elliott. So Elliott has taken the lead away from Rusty Wallace. Good job there by Elliott, just doing an excellent job right now, staying out in front of the 27. Bill Elliott. He knows he had the fastest car last time at Bristol. He knows he's got a championship battle to win. He's out here in these final 10 races, and he's going to try to put together the best ending to a season he possibly can. Remember, back in 1984, when he was competing for the championship, he was trying his absolute best to make sure that nobody ran him down. Of course, he had a 500-point lead going into the final 10 races of the season. You didn't need to do much. But an epic collapse took the points lead down to within 100 going into the final race. Of course, Elliott ended up sealing it up, but the points race was a lot closer than it needed to be. No doubt about that. Elliott's trying to reverse that curse that he's had in the last third of the season. And what a better way to go out there than to start leading some laps in the Southern 500. And right now he's holding off a definitely hard-charging and, dare we say, desperate Rusty Wallace team. Yeah, that team really wants to overperform. They really want to be out there and perform the best that they absolutely can every single week. They felt like that they've underachieved the entire season. Remember, the first half of this season, these guys were nowhere near the top 10 in points. They got a couple of wins during the Summer Super Speedway Madness. And now we're going back to the short tracks. We're going back right into Rusty Wallace's domain. And here he is, right on the former champion's rear bumper. Boy, this might be a really good battle for the lead here. You know Elliott's not going to want to mess up this lead at all. He wants those, not just the 5 bonus points for leading the laps, he wants the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. He knows every single point is going to matter in this battle. He's within 90 points, within 100 points of Tim Richmond. He's got to run him down. Richmond made his one and probably only mistake that he's going to make during these final 10 races. And Elliott knows he has to capitalize on that. He can't let Tim Richmond get away with such a critical error. And right now, that's what this race is all about. Elliott trying to hold on. This is getting really good here for the lead. The 27's looking everywhere trying to get a position. Can't quite get to the lead though. 27's looking high now. Yeah, he can't get around him on the low side, so he's going to try to get around him on the high lane. Not exactly going to work. Elliott is now going to block him going into turn number 1 there. Still holding on to this lead, but very, very slimly. Boy, that 27 car is not going to let Elliott get away easily. Remember, Bill, rather, neither of those people are. And sorry about the noises up in the booths and the constant readjusting and stuff. But anyways, here is one of your Winston Million contenders. This is Geoff Bodine. He won the Daytona 500. If he wins today, he will get a $100,000 bonus for his team. That's not looking likely. Bodine did unload fast, but it looks like he's going to go backwards quickly. Meanwhile, we continue to go back, and this just proves how hard it is to pass here at Darlington. Tim Richmond, he started dead last, had to go to a backup car due to a wreck in final practice. Here he is, 24th position. Not good for Tim Richmond at all. And he's got to have a better showing than this. As right now, I mean, the points lead won't be evaporated. By the way, Rusty Wallace took back the lead. So how about that? Rusty Wallace has gone back to the lead now. And he's kind of taken it in command here, too. He's definitely pulled a little bit of a gap on Bill Elliott. Gap's back to 2 or 3 car lengths. Elliott's going to try to run him down, though. He's not going to let Wallace get away with this. Look at this. Elliott right back to the back bumper of the 27. Look at this move down to the inside. Oh, this is some good racing here, folks. Oh, Wallace squeezes him down right down to the banking, giving Elliott no room entering the corner, but Wallace gets loose on the high lane. Elliott sneaks by. Oh, man. Elliott is going to regain the lead after 2 laps. Wow, do we have a good battle for the lead. There's no doubt about that. Do we have a good battle for the lead, folks? Right now we want to take you to the battle for 8th anyways. Here's Darrell Waltrip, 3rd in points. he's going to be gaining on his teammate Tim Richmond as well. And sometimes, you know, you don't have to make the hugest impacts in order to be good. Sometimes you just have to finish well week in and week out. And that's what Darrell Waltrip has successfully done this year. He's very quietly finished in the top 10 more often than not. He hasn't really quite sneaked into the top 5 as much as he would like to. But very quietly, he'll be in the top 10, 7th, 8th, 9th, wherever. And he's been like that the entire season. I really love drivers that are able to do that. And we've got another battle for the lead here. Boy, both Wallace and Elliott are not going to give up this lead battle, but it looks like Wallace is going to end up winning it here. Lap traffic playing to Wallace's advantage. Or maybe is it? JD McDuffie getting into the 27's way here. Elliott might try to set him up here in turns 1 and 2. That's going to be another 2 laps led for Wallace. And he did. He tried to outbrake him going into 1. Boy, that's hard to do. He's going to outgun him coming off of turn 2. Look at this power move by Elliott. It's the skill of these two drivers. Well documented, well known. These two had such a good battle last year with each other. And with another battle with Earnhardt, who's currently in 3rd place, but he's kind of playing second fiddle to these two right now. Boy, Elliott and Wallace, they have basically identical cars today, and this has been an incredible battle here at the front. Yeah, you gotta love it when two people are driving the wheels off of their machinery, trying to get the best finish they possibly can, trying to lead the most laps they possibly can. You gotta think that Elliott's got a little bit of a shoulder up, but Wallace keeps on showing that he can come on. Wallace is gonna try to use Coombs as a pick here. Maybe not. There he goes. There goes Wallace. Great move. Wow. I gotta tell you what. Rusty Wallace, he is showing some excellent racing prowess today. He wants that 3rd win of 1989. And the way that the wins are distributed this season, I mean, we've had over 10 different winners this year. We have 5 drivers that have multiple victories this year. I mean, given we had 5 drivers with multiple victories last year, but come on now. We've had a lot of wins. I mean, Tim Richmond currently leads everyone with 4 wins. Elliott has 3, and 3 other guys have 2. So if Rusty Wallace can all of a sudden take the win here, he can sort of make up for the first third of the season where he was not so good. And basically say that he's got tied 2nd for most wins. He can have that trophy again. I mean, that almost feels like a participation trophy at this point. As you can see, Wallace trying to get around AJ Foyt. And where did Bill Elliott come from? Huh. Did we say that Elliott is ever going to give up? No. Bill Elliott is definitely not going to give up. There's no way he's going to. He's right back on the bumper of the 27. He wants those laps led. He's got to get those 5 bonus points. Rusty Wallace, he's probably not going to win the championship, so he doesn't really care. He's out there to win. Elliott wants those bonus points, though. We'll see how aggressive he is getting into turn 1 here. He let him in. He's going to try to eye him up, try to beat him up off of turn 2 like he has before. Here comes the move. We'll see if he does it. He's going to try. Wallace throws the block. Elliott can't get the job done. Man, that is such a short straightaway, too. Got to figure this is a 1 1/3 mile oval, about a little bit more than that. 1.36 miles. But it's a little bit more than 1 1/3 miles long. So the straightaways are not very long here. But the big thing is how the banking is represented here. I mean, and it is one of the higher banked speedways in NASCAR right now. So it can be torture on these cars. Torture on the tires, torture on the drivers. And despite being a super speedway, this track always brings a short track feel. And that's why we get to see short track drivers like Rusty Wallace, like Dale Earnhardt, like Davey Allison do so well here. Rusty Wallace, however, he's just out there right now. He is cruising, but he's got to be wary of that 9 car behind him. You know Elliott is desperate to get around him. Will Elliott try to use the outside here? Jeff Purvis is not giving Rusty Wallace much room. Mickey Gibbs isn't going to give him room either. The leaders are just going to have to be content to be patient. Wallace, I thought Wallace was actually going to try the outside there. Elliott tried going down to the inside, but Elliott thought better of it. Boy, Jeff Purvis has really not been nice to the leaders right now. And this is going to kill their momentum too. Here he goes. They're going to make it 3 wide. Wow. Elliott tried to use the top lane. Not the best lane. It was a good effort, though. I got to say, that was an inventive move. He's trying really hard. He momentarily got the lead from Wallace, but it just wasn't good enough. Jeff Purvis just ran too much of a block. Oh, Elliott puts the bumper to the 27. Oh, boy. Do these laps led bonus points mean anything? Hey, clearly take a look at how aggressive Elliott's being. This is fun to watch. Both of these drivers are putting on a NASCAR clinic right now. You gotta figure these guys are going 160, 170, sometimes even 180 miles an hour entering turns 1 and 2. These cars, you can see them, they're bouncing all over the place. Here comes Elliott down to the inside. He set him up. And it's not going to be enough. Yeah, you got to figure that pit stops are going to be happening soon. Question is when. Right now. Here is who would take the lead. No, he's coming down pit road. Allison coming down pit road. Bodine coming down pit road. See if anybody's going to stay out here. Looks like Kyle. Nope. Dick Trickle coming down pit road. Rob Moroso coming down pit road. But here's Dale Jarrett. He's going to stay out and get the 5 bonus points. I like it. I love it when drivers do this. Well, maybe not. He's just pitting on the back stretch. Oh, he's not going to get those 5 bonus points. Anyways, coming out of pit road, Wallace has the lead. And Elliott's still right on his bumper. So pit stops didn't do anything, but here comes Dale Earnhardt. Maybe they did do something. Wallace and Elliott are going to be on cold tires too. This might be Earnhardt's chance to strike. Earnhardt's going to be stuck up against the wall there. That's not going to be good for Earnhardt. This is going to be Earnhardt's chance to strike here if he wants to start leading some laps. And now we've got Chad Little potentially getting involved here. That's not going to be good. Oh boy, the racing just got real tight. Earnhardt looking for a way around Wallace. Earnhardt only has one win this season. He become the 6th multi-time winner this year. It's crazy to think about. I mean, we've got plenty of racing to go, folks. Plenty of racing. Don't go anywhere. This race is far from over. Meanwhile, you gotta take a look at 3rd in points right now. Darrell Waltrip, he's in 12th. Tim Richmond's still stuck in the mid-20s. It's another important day for Bill Elliott. Not only can he put more distance between him and Waltrip, he can really close in the gap here between him and Richmond. This isn't going to do it all the way, even if he wins. But boy, it'll be down to 10 or 15 points. Elliott trying to make this pass on Dale Earnhardt. He's going to have to get him here getting into turn 1. I think he's going to get it. Elliott showing that he is the faster guy. Remember, Earnhardt did hang on for a little bit, but then he started to fall back. Now, the driver who just took over the 4th position now, Harry Gant. We all know that he's got a fast car today. Remember, we said he might have the fastest car on the track. Meanwhile, whoa, look at Kyle Petty. Wow, that was a near disaster. Kyle Petty trying to get onto pit road. He barely missed getting run over by this pack. Now the important thing is to remember they got to attack these guys one car at a time. They're getting around Ernie Irvan now. Jeff Purvis, JD McDuffie, they're going to go 2 laps down. They're the really slow cars. You have Larry Pearson there. They're going to go 3 wide. I just lost my breath for a second, and Wallace still beat him to the line. Wow. People are being very, very, very aggressive. You just don't get away with 3 wide at this track like that. Usually 3 wide means that you're going to be in the wall or your rival's going to be in the wall. Somebody is going to hit the wall if you go 3 wide, but I didn't see anybody get into each other or get into the wall. Everything was smooth as silk. Elliott is now your leader, and Dale Earnhardt is right there, and I think he's got the faster car right now. Dale Earnhardt trying to set Elliott up. See if he can get the job done. Surprisingly, Tim Richmond is the next car to put 1 lap down. This has been such a crazy off day for Tim Richmond. You know, just having that backup car. Their backup car obviously isn't as good at all. And that it's showing. It's showing good too. Elliott right now. Holding on to the lead. It looks like he's pulling away from Dale Earnhardt a little bit. He's starting to open up some breathing room, maybe about 4 or 5 car lengths now. Yeah, Elliott's starting to take off. It's looking really good for this 9 team. Trying to get their 4th win of the season. Trying to punch their ticket to a championship battle. If he gets his 4th win of the year, that will tie him with Tim Richmond for 4 wins. Richmond, of course, has a lot more top 5s and a lot more top 10s. Meanwhile, just getting around Rodney Coombs there, Dale Earnhardt's closed the gap right back up. So Earnhardt not messing around here either. He wants his 2nd win of the season in an otherwise disappointing year. I mean, Dale Earnhardt's right now, he's at the point where if it's not a championship, it's a disappointing year. But then again, I think you can say the same thing about the 25, the 9, and the 27. If it's not a championship, it's a disappointing year. And if that's the case, the 27 team is really underachieved, and we'll have to see what happens now with that 27 team. Maybe Rusty Wallace changes teams. We don't know, but we do know that this team is not exactly happy with each other with their performance this year. Raymond Beadle, the owner of that car, of course, also a famous NHRA owner. That should always be brought up as well. Came over here. He used to have Tim Richmond in his driver lineup. Tim Richmond did modest for him. And then when Tim Richmond moved over to Hendrick, he picked up Rusty Wallace, and Rusty Wallace picked up 20 top 10s in his first season with the team, which was actually the most out of any driver that season. However, he only had 6 top 5s, and he ended up finishing 7th in points. I don't know how you do that. And then 1987, once again, similar points position, ended up being 6th or 7th. Only this time he ended up having 10 top 5s, but only 15 top 10s because of more DNFs. Ended up having 4 runner-up finishes that season. He comes into 1988 and it immediately puts down a win at Rockingham, would go on to win 6 more races that season. Now this year, of course, they were trying to match their success back in 1988 by winning directly at Rockingham again. Unfortunately, that didn't end up panning out, and he actually got injured in probably one of the most spectacular crashes I have ever seen at Rockingham. You just flipped wildly down the back straightaway. Almost looked like something that you would see at Daytona or Talladega. And things just have not been the same for that 27 car since. Anyways, we're going back. Elliott is your leader right now, and I don't really see any sign of anybody catching up to Elliott. If anybody's going to run down this 9 car, it's going to be Rusty Wallace. It's just plain and simple. I don't see Dale Earnhardt running down Bill Elliott with the current traffic scheme. It's just not going to happen. Meanwhile, Tim Richmond is working his tail off trying to get through the field. He's up to 18th now. I mean, that's what I would call working your tail off. He's really trying to stay on the lead lap right now. There it is, Tim Richmond, 18th. Even after where they started, they got to consider that a success. Got to try everything they can to stay on the lead lap. Elliott looking for a way around Marcus. There he goes. Elliott's going to go right around Dave Marcus. Now, well, that's going to slow the 3-car way down. We'll see how much Rusty Wallace gains here. Leads down to $1.75 between Elliott and Wallace. If Wallace can end up catching that 3-car, it could be huge, huge money. Oh, absolutely. Wallace needs to catch that 3-car. Look at this. He's going to pass the 71 with little resistance as well. And that is going to be another huge gain for Wallace. So I wouldn't put this win in the definite column for Elliott yet. Now you got all this lap traffic to get around here. That's going to be another position for Richmond if he can get around him. Indeed, that's 17th position that Tim Richmond is up to now. Meanwhile, Bill Elliott trying to get around Butch Miller. He's multiple laps down. Trying to find some way around him. While you watch that, here's the battle for second. Look at the run that Wallace got off turn 2. I don't think he's going to be able to turn it into anything, however. Indeed he won't, but man, he got a good run. Man, oh man, did he get a good run. He's going to look to the bottom here. Oh, what a crossover move by Wallace. Is he going to be able to beat him into turn 1 here? You bet he can. Wallace to second. Will he pass Butch Miller as well? Give it a 1-2 punch. Rusty Wallace is back in business. And meanwhile, Elliott's just working his tail off trying to catch the likes of Eddie Bierschwell and Rob Moroso, Michael Waltrip, and all that jazz. Tim Richmond has actually caught Bill Elliott a little bit. So Tim Richmond is actually pulling away. Elliott wants to put that 25-car lap down, of course. Doesn't want that 25 car to get too far up through the field. He would love for him to be trapped as far back in the field as possible. Try to gain as many points as he possibly can. Maybe even hamstring the 25 all the way outside of the top 15. That would be optimal for Elliott. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see Tim Richmond break into the top 10 by the end of this race. Which means it's basically going to be no gain for points, or maybe even a loss of points for Wallace, and maybe a gain of 45 or 50 points for Elliott. That'll be about it. See Elliott get around the Oldsmobile of Bierschwell there, and now he's going to get around the Monte Carlo of Rob Moroso. I mean the Chevrolet Lumina, rather. Come on, 21 races into 1989, and I completely forgot that the Chevrolet's using the Lumina this year. Oh boy. Anyways, 30 laps to go. And that's not looking good for the 27. Nope. It looks like Rob Moroso and Eddie Bierschwell are not exactly going to play ball for Rusty Wallace going around those two. So, unfortunately, it's going to be he's going to come out from behind Rob Moroso. He's going to be about a second behind Elliott. Look at the run that the 27 gets. He's going to get around the 66 here. But again, he's just going to lose so much time to the 9 car here. And this is really a race that he's starting to run out of time a little bit. I'm sure there's plenty of time left on the board. Sure, but still, he doesn't have a whole lot of it. That's for certain. All these drivers up front have to be having big smiles on their faces right now. Tim Richmond is moved up into 16th and looks like he's going to move into 15th now. So Tim Richmond up into 15th, but it's another 8 seconds to get to 14th. Tim Richmond has fallen back to 30 seconds behind the leader again. Elliott looking for a way around Michael Waltrip, trying to set him up. That'll put Waltrip a lap down. Wallace trying to stay in pursuit of Bill Elliott. Doesn't want Elliott to get too far out in front right now. It's all about running that 9 car right down. Of course, in order to do that, he's going to need to catch that 30 car at a very vulnerable moment. Try to maneuver around the lap traffic the best he can. Yeah, Elliott and him are basically running the same laps out there too. I look at these times and they're not too different from each other. There goes Wallace. He's going to try to get around the 30. At the same time, Elliott's going to try to get around the 52. That will be advantage Wallace, no doubt about it. They'll both run the same line through there. And Wallace will try to get a twofer here by getting Geoff Purvis in turn 1. Don't think he's going to be able to do it. Nope. So Wallace unable to get Geoff Purvis here in turn 1. He's going to have to beat him down the back straightaway and go into turn 2. That once again is going to put Wallace at about 1 second behind the leader. So we think that Wallace is catching up, and it just isn't. In fact, I think this is going to be a lot more than a second. Now that'll be 1.3. That's how much that lap traffic held Wallace up. And Elliott got the bonus of getting around JD McDuffie too. So that's really going to hamstring this 27, as he's going to have to catch JD McDuffie in turns 1 and 2. And that's not where you want to pass him. This is where you want to pass him. Turns 3 and 4, because this is where they're going to let you go. .5 seconds now the gap to Elliott. So Elliott's running away with this thing. Well, just remember we do have another set of pit stops coming up here, so we gotta wonder where are those pit stops coming. I think Earnhardt's already hit pit road. And I said something about pit stops. Here they come. Here they come for pits. And as we know, I doubt that anyone's going to stay out. Just like last time, I doubt anyone's going to stay out. So we're just going to stay fixated on your leader hitting pit road here. Elliott's going to come in. It should be a standard 4 tire change for Elliott. You'll see his competitor, Rusty Wallace right in front of him. That'll be a standard 4-tire change for him, I do believe. And Elliot's going to get out scot-free. And there goes Wallace. Elliot's going to have a huge lead. And you want to know who's even going to have a huger lead? Dale Earnhardt. Wow. Or rather, Dale Earnhardt is not going to have a big lead. He's going to stay relegated in second place. Meanwhile, Elliott is getting off scot-free. And someone did stay out to lead the lap, excuse me. And that was the 28 of Davey Allison. I don't know why I keep on scrolling around. So now Tim Richmond, there's your second place car. What will be your second place car, Dale Earnhardt? Yep, there you go. Bill Elliott, he's got the lead. Second place, Dale Earnhardt. Third place, Rusty Wallace. In fourth, long way back, Ken Schrader. Fifth, Alan Kowicki. Sixth, Geoff Bodine. Seventh, Harry Gant. Eighth, Terry Labonte. Ninth will be Davey Allison. And 10th, Sterling Marlin. Now it looks like Darrell Waltrip's fallen all the way back to 14th. Waltrip kind of hoping for a caution right now. One that will put Richmond a lap down, but put him back into a position where he can start to battle for positions again. Yeah, this would be an optimal time for a yellow, at least for Darrell Waltrip anyways. Elliott does not want to see a yellow. He wants to see this go green the rest of the way. The only car that's going to compete with him is 4.3 seconds back and in third place. And fighting through heavy traffic. So you gotta figure that this race should just go to Elliott. At this point in time, I really don't see anyone else winning this race. I mean, Elliott can always blow up. I don't think that's going to happen because Elliott has been pretty reliable to say the least. But yeah, we don't want to see the leader blow up or anything like that. That would be just a terrible atrocity if that were to happen. Boy, Tim Richmond is actually fighting Dale Earnhardt hard back there, as if he's battling for position. I don't really see the gain of doing that, Richmond. It's all about staying in front of the people that you're racing. You're not racing Dale Earnhardt right now. In fact, the only thing that you're accomplishing is probably making Earnhardt upset. Not exactly the brightest strategy, if you ask me, but we'll see how that pans out. Right now, Elliott's running real smooth. He's just got to mail in these last few laps. Tim Richmond, if he can catch Morgan Shepherd here, and he will, he's going to catch Morgan Shepherd. The next person that they need to catch is going to be this 26 of Ricky Rudd. And I say, yeah, they're going to catch them too. So what Elliott needs to do is make sure that he stays in front of Earnhardt here, but try his best to make sure that Tim Richmond isn't going to pass anybody. So he can't have that happen either. He's got too many points to try to gain here. Yeah, I think a more effective strategy for Elliott right now, since Earnhardt's nowhere to be found, what he can try to do is basically try to block Richmond from passing another car. I mean, you wouldn't do it now, but let's say for the next position, for the 14th position, if they end up catching him, Elliott could try to clog the lane. I don't think that's how they're going to play, though. They're going to play this clean. They're going to play this good. Elliott's going to win a championship. If Elliott's going to win the second championship of his career, he's going to do it the right way. No doubt about it in my mind. 10 laps to go. Bill Elliott, your 1984 champion. When he won the championship that year, he got a dominating amount of victories. 8. It was a throwbacks record until last year when Dale Earnhardt basically just shattered it. So that's not a record anymore. However, Elliott is continuing to be strong here at the front of the field, trying to catch that second championship. And can you imagine how the crowd's going to react if he takes this championship into Georgia, right into Atlanta, his hometown basically. Elliott, of course, hailing from Dawsonville, Georgia. The Atlanta home crowd will definitely be cheering for Elliott if he goes there with any sort of championship hopes. Of course, a lot of things can happen in the next few races. A lot of things can change by then. We don't necessarily know how much things are going to change, but a lot of things can change from here all the way to the championship race at Atlanta. It's got to look a very long way right now for Bill Elliott, though. You got to realize he's got to survive North Wilkesboro without having an accident. You've got to survive Charlotte without having an accident. That can be a caution-riddled race. You got to survive Martinsville without a mechanical failure. That track has a high mechanical failure rate. You've got to be able to survive Richmond. That ended up being a wreck fest back in the spring race. So you got to survive all of these short tracks without having a single mess up. And then when we finally do go to Atlanta, you got to make sure that you put the best car out there, the fastest car that you can do. I mean, there's no messing up after Atlanta. You got to make sure that it makes it all the way to the end of the race. No problems. I believe the yellow flag is indeed showing, and the 17 is involved. I think they're still racing here, and that's going to put the 25 back on the lead lap potentially. If he can keep it up, I don't think he will. No. What a huge break for Darrell Waltrip. Wow, Waltrip's going to stay on the lead lap. And Elliott's going to put Tim Richmond one lap down. And that is something Elliott may or may not have wanted to see. If the race doesn't get back going to green, it's definitely Elliott's paradise right now. It's time to figure out what happened during that yellow flag for the caution. Try to figure out what happened here. Caution lights go on. And the 17 is in the wall, so let's try to figure out what happened here. Oh. Here we go. 17's trying to pass the 48. There we go. The 17's in the wall. He gets hit by the 48. They go into the wall. The caution flag's immediately displayed. Elliott hits the brakes. Maybe he thought that there was no room for him to get around Darrell Waltrip. I'm not sure. But man, Elliott may be playing it very conservatively there. Well, he's still got the lead. That's all that matters to him. And the only thing that matters to the 17 is that he's still on the lead lap. I mean, he's only one position in front of the 25, but shush, he's got this. Well, I think we're going to go green with 1 or 2 laps to go here. It doesn't really matter which one. So Waltrip, if he's going to gain any positions here, he's got to do it quick. But you have to realize he's going to have a longer line to deal with on the inside. 41 cars are still on the track. The only car that's retired thus far is Mark Martin with the blown motor. That's the only car that has exited the track in this entire race. So Waltrip's going to have to make some magic happen if he's going to gain any positions. I'm sure he will. And you got to think that Tim Richmond's going to be a wild card because he will get back onto the lead lap, but he's going to be 30-some seconds behind Darrell Waltrip, so he's not going to gain any positions. If we go back green, which I am not 100% sure that we are going to go back green. If we're going to go back green, we're only going to go back green with 1 to go. I think NASCAR is going to be content with just saying, you know, well, we're going to end the race under the yellow flag here. We'll see, though. I don't see why they kept the caution lights on there. They must have waved off the restart or something. Track's clear. Don't see any debris. It's time to get these guys going. So if we restart this race, it will be with 1 lap to go. Elliott will be your leader. Wallace second. Earnhardt third. Schrader fourth. Geoff Bodine fifth. Are we going to get this race going back underneath the green flag? Just passing the 1 hour mark now, and yes, we are. Oh boy. So, Waltrip, in order to pass anybody, he's going to have to get in front of this 26. He's got to make sure he gets to that inside line. I mean, there's the 15, there's the 94. He's got cars he can pass. Meanwhile, Elliott, he's pretty much got this race in the bag unless something absolutely insane happens on this restart, which I don't think anything will. Elliott should have this race in the bag. Of course, Dale Jarrett can maybe get a good jump and then get to the inside of Bill Elliott, but that just doesn't seem very likely. Elliott should be able to just take this one home. It's going to be about how many positions Darrell Waltrip can gain, because Tim Richmond can't gain any from that spot. In fact, he might be in the danger of losing some. Anyways, we come to the line. Green flag is out. 1 lap to go. Dale Jarrett gave it his all, but Elliott's going to pull away. Here they come off of turn 2 for the last time. Jarrett's trying, man. Jarrett's going to give it the college try. There he goes. He's actually going to move underneath Elliott, but it's not going to matter. They're going to come to the line. Bill Elliott has won the Southern 500. And Waltrip was not able to advance any positions. Kowicki got kicked outside of the top 10. He's all the way down in 13th. Excuse me. The 7 was actually able to... The Waltrip was able to finish in 12th. Where is Kowicki and Marlin, for that matter? They both hit pit road, apparently. I'm not 100% sure what happened here, so... Let's see what happened. Okay, so we're watching. Trying to figure out what happened here. See why the 7 and the 94 hit pit road. Huh? Just hung a hard left, went into pit road for some reason. Well then. Not sure why exactly you would do that. But Elliott is your winner of the Southern 500. And that is going to be a huge points day. 17 points. That's all it is now, is just 17 points separating Bill Elliott from your points leader, Tim Richmond. In fact, Elliott now has the lead in laps led for the season. That is pretty phenomenal. Anyways, this championship battle continues to heat up. We now have 11 drivers. Count them, 11 drivers within 400 points of the points lead. This is unprecedented. Look, you can see 12 guys here. These 12 guys, they're all heading for the championship. And then there's a little bit of well, I should say these 11 guys are trying to go for the championship. And then there's a steep decline. And then you got these guys that are all battling for each other really closely. And then another steep decline. So things are just absolutely crazy right now. Everything's just being thrown into chaos and dismay. This championship can be won by anybody right now. Anyone can try to win this championship. Elliott still doesn't have a pole for the season. I don't know how that's possible. But anyways, the next race, it's going to be Richmond. Oh boy. We'll see you next time.